Living Local is presented by Amy Goss with Guild Mortgage. Amy is a proud Marine veteran serving Jacksonville and the surrounding communities with VA, FHA, USDA, and conventional home loans. She specializes in helping military families, first-time buyers, and everyone in between achieve the American dream of homeownership. Every city has a budget. Every city has roads to build or maintain, projects to manage, and tough decisions to make. But not every city has a leader who has managed several communities in 4 different states before coming to Jacksonville. Josh Ray became Jacksonville city manager in 2022, bringing with him a unique perspective on growth, leadership, and what it takes to build a strong community. Today, we're talking about where Jacksonville is headed and why that matters to every person who calls the city home. This is Living Local, and this is Those Who Served. Josh, welcome to the cave, man.
Thanks, Steve. This is great. I didn't expect when I came in this morning that you would have a very talented hair and makeup team, but the fact that I get to look this good today, this is not the normal. I'm only hoping that your editing team is as effective so that it really comes out as informative.
Well, you're looking at the editing team right here.
I'm very excited.
Well, let's hop in, man. 24 years in local government. It's a remarkable career, and you're still going. What made you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah, well, when I went to Carolina, I got a degree in political science.
Okay.
And when you come out of political science with a degree in political science, you don't know what you're going to do in life. So you have that direction. I'd planned to go to law school, but it took me, unlike some, it took me 4.5 years to get through Carolina because it was such a great school. And I was just so interested in national championships and the aspects of being in college. So instead of going to law school, I went back home to Waynesville. And I talked to our town manager, said, I've got from January till August that I need to do something. It would be nice to have a job and to see what local government is. And I had an excellent mentor in Lee Galloway, who had been a manager for over 28 years at that point. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And so we started an internship just so I could get a feel for what local government was. The first job he let me do was get on the back of a trash truck. And I rode the trash truck during the month of January in Western North Carolina, picking up trash. He let me go over to wastewater treatment plant, let me go to Parks and Rec, was working in finance, worked on the budget. In about 8 months, I was able to see everything that local government had. And then Dr. Gordon Mercer at Western Carolina was at a meeting that Mr. Galloway took me to, and he said, hey, you seem like this is, you'd be a good add to our profession. Why don't you come do this? My mom worked in local government for 27 years for the Sheriff's Department. My godmother is a teacher for her entire career. And so being in public service is something that I didn't know was in my blood.
It just kind of fell into it.
It was the best thing. The good Lord sometimes has plans for us that we don't know. And throughout our career, we have followed that path. Wherever he's opened that door, we just keep going. And
that's awesome.
It's a blessing.
That is awesome.
I tell you, it's so good to go into local government and see the fruits of your labors every single day.
That is awesome. So you've managed communities in North Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, New Mexico. What have you learned that seems to matter everywhere, no matter the size of the community?
Yeah, when you started at 23 in Town of Bisco, and I was their first manager. They were my first location. It was a perfect setup. It was a blessing. Then when you start going out of the state, I never would have imagined I would have moved outside of North Carolina.
That's kind of weird.
Because why would you?
Yeah.
There's no reason to leave North Carolina, but for some reason we go out there. So it doesn't matter if it was at 23 or it's now after doing this for a couple of decades. The one thing that remains consistent is the same thing that's a challenge. people have different wants, people have different needs. You know, you and I can sit here and talk about the things that we need in our life, and it's probably minimal in terms of those needs. We have basic essentials. That's the same thing in local government is communities have needs and they have wants. And so you have to figure out what's that threshold that people can, that they want, that balances out the wants and the needs. It doesn't matter if it's in the deserts of New Mexico or outside of Austin in Texas, it's all the same. People come in, they want a dialogue, they want to be heard, and our goal as public servants is trying to make those things come to fruition.
That's awesome. And you're right. I think a lot of times, I know the business that I was in, the utility business, a lot of times a member, we called them members, not just customers, but they would call in and they just wanted to be heard. It was something might have been going on away from the situation they were calling us about, but it was just a mere fact they wanted somebody to listen and be heard.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
At City Hall, that's where the phone rings. Is people have some type of challenge. They want to know, can you help me with this challenge? If not, who can?
Yeah.
Help me find the person. A lot of times the answer is the county. A lot of times the answer is your local government. It could be Heather down in Holly Ridge. It could be Chris over in Richlands. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
We connect people with other people.
That's awesome.
To try and figure out what their issue is and how to solve a problem.
That's awesome. Well, let's hop in and talk about some Jacksonville specific things. So obviously the military. People hear Jacksonville described as a military host city all the time. What does that actually mean day to day?
When you talk about uniqueness across the country, being a military host city makes us unique in so many different ways. A lot of people don't understand it. Every Monday, we hire new people to join our team. City of Jacksonville has 631 full-time employees, 158 part-time, 6 part-time with benefits. So that's our team that we operate every single day. Our one goal is to serve 73,494 citizens. That's all we're here for. That's our mission every single day. But the other part of our mission is being able to support the United States Marine Corps. And in this community, there are only 5 military host cities out of 550 municipalities in the state of North Carolina. So we're a unicorn. We're something that no one else understands. Thank heavens we have Phil Shepard, Wyatt Gable, Senator Lazara that understand what it is to be in a military host city. But what it means here is we work in partnership with the Marine Corps to make sure that when the nation calls their number, we're there next to them when they answer the call. That seems a little silly to some people, but it means they have to get from that base where they're training 40,000 plus or minus Marines out to wherever the call sends them. We never know where they're going. We just know that we have to provide them with the things that they can't do internally so that they can accomplish the training mission and then they can get from point A to point B to go defend our country. It's a blessing. It's unique. College communities can say theirs is similar. Yeah. Communities that have lake resorts can say they're similar. No one is similar because no one else has the United States Marine Corps serving our country in our community. You know, City of Jacksonville with Senator Lazara just completed annexation that annexed the remainder of the base. We had the majority of the base annexed into City of Jacksonville property. Now, based on the General Assembly's action within the last couple of weeks, we have almost the entire base property annexed into the city. That makes the City of Jacksonville the second largest by land mass municipality in the state of North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
We're about the same size as Charlotte. So if you look on Google Maps and you look at us, we're about the same size. Obviously, we don't have the population. We don't have the same infrastructure. But what it is it means that when we go to work every day, we go to work not just with the county as a partner, but with the Marine Corps. So when the G7 calls, when the GC calls, we answer the phone. They have a bat phone that goes straight to the city manager's office. They call Deputy City Manager Ron Massey, and Mr. Massey says, "Hey, Joe, hey, Mike, what do you need?" And when they say what we need, we respond. That's what it means to be a military host city. That's what any partnership is. It's the same right now, Steve. If you and I are sitting here and my wife calls, I'm going to have to take the call.
Yep.
Because if Savannah Lee calls, I need to take that call. If the United States Marine Corps calls, we take the call.
So let's talk about working alongside Camp Lejeune, planning, infrastructure, and preparing for growth. How do you work with the base?
The main partnership in terms of the infrastructure is based on not just the city and the base, but also ONWASA. We all operate water and sewer systems. ONWASA serves the majority of the county. City of Jacksonville serves our municipal areas and some areas outside of that. Then the base handles everything inside. You know, the base is a city in itself.
Yeah.
They have all their own services. The services they can offer, as I said earlier, we provide to them through intergovernmental service agreements. But what's important is when we talk about growth in this community, we could not manage growth if we didn't have the Marine Corps and ONWASA, because we don't have the capacity. These water and sewer plants, 23 years ago when I built a sewer plant, we'd build it for $3 million. Now you build a sewer plant that has about 5 million gallons of treatment capacity in a day. That same plant's going to cost us $20 million. It might even cost us 25 if we catch things at the wrong time. The base has wastewater capacity, so they allow us to have development inside the city, and then they give us additional capacity so we can do these projects. We talk to Frankie at ONWASA every week, and we meet together about what our needs are. We bring all three partners together to figure out how do we serve areas of this community, much like you did throughout your career here. You got to figure out who's the service provider, and if neither one of us can maximize the utility of our current infrastructure, how do we work together with another service provider to make it happen?
So for someone who's never lived in a military community, what usually surprises them most about the relationship between the city and Camp Lejeune?
Well, one of the things you're going to see in the city is we have to refresh information. We share information with citizens, and that's one of the most important things we do is to educate people on what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because, again, if we're doing it because some portion of 73,494 citizens has asked us to do it. Having the military base here means that population's turning over every 2 years.
Yep.
That's the craziest thing ever. So you may have this dialogue. They may be working in our community. We may have that staff, and then they just disappear. That's a huge challenge. Having those professionals that come in and out of your community, whether they're the Marines or they're the spouse or they're the kids, that's a challenge. But it also is the blessing because it gives us talented people that refresh our community every 2 to 3 years. We just had General Rizzo just left our community to go on and do something bigger and better. So now we have a new general that comes in. We have General Worth that just left our community to go on to do something else to protect our country. Another general comes in. We get new ideas every 2 to 3 years. Yeah. And so we stay refreshed and we're never stagnant.
Yeah, that's really neat. And I never really thought about that until you just said that. We have that rotation, and with that rotation, much like you, they've been other places, they've had different experiences, and they're bringing different perspectives, and they're bringing potentially fresh ideas.
Yeah, when we sit at the table, everybody
That's
can say, I've got experience from this community, and the institutional knowledge here is invaluable. So we have to have a team that mixes people from Jacksonville in the area with people from outside. So when I say Mr. Massey, 30 years in the Army 32 years in local government. He's worked in Massachusetts. He's worked at West Point. He's worked in Germany, basically as a manager of an installation. Then he went down to Corpus Christi, and now he's here. You talk about that synergy between just his and our thoughts on a daily basis, and there's a lot of value there. Yeah. So we bring in the team from the base, and it just gets better. We see challenges they've seen in other areas. They may have ideas that work somewhere else. It allows us to challenge the status quo and figure out how to be better in our community.
That's awesome, man. So let's talk about tax bills. So when someone comes and pays their city tax bill, what do you hope they understand about where that money's going?
Well, one thing's interesting with the challenges of the military host city. So the fact that we have those 40,000 men and women serving our country, that gives us everything you see on Western Boulevard. Mm-hmm. Without those individuals, we wouldn't even be 40,000. We'd probably be around 25 to 30. So we wouldn't have 7 chicken restaurants on Western Boulevard.
Western Boulevard.
The chicken strip is delicious. So whether you're going to the Zaxby's or the Guthrie's or the Raising Cane's or the Slim Chickens, you're going to get amenities that you wouldn't have in other communities. The other side of that is the base owns, before this annexation, 52% of the land inside of the city of Jacksonville. So that means we do not tax 52% of the land. Mm-hmm. So our tax base in Jacksonville generates roughly $30 million a year in property taxes. $30 million. For police and fire. So here's your question. Someone says, I pay my taxes, what do you get? You get police and fire.
You and I were talking about this.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Leading up to this, yeah.
You get police and fire services, which is great. We want you to be safe in your community. We have one of the safest communities in the state of North Carolina and in the country. And our fire department ranks as one of the top departments in the country with the lowest ISO rating that you can get. Our department, in conjunction with our water department and our planning department, is an ISO rating of 1, which means you get the best insurance rating commercially and residential you can get, which means they can respond and protect you at the highest level. No one can be better than them. And Chief Tallman does an amazing job for us to respond. But the answer is you get police and fire services from paying your taxes, your property taxes. Your sales tax then supplements everything else. And then there's user fees and things that go into it. So in other communities, your property tax would pay for roughly 70 to 80% of the general fund. Here, it pays for 30 to 40%. So it's crazy to see how that is, but it's one of those trade-offs. So where you see it as a challenge, we get so many benefits from the Marine Corps. 24% of our staff, our full-time staff, are former service men and women. 24%. So we get trained people that come in to do the work of the city every single day. And that's incredible. If you're in a college town, you may get a college graduate, but they're not trained to do the work. So you have to take longer time to onboard them and train them in the job. We get Marines and sailors that are ready to come to work.
That's why the 7 chicken restaurants are very important for that sales tax.
100%.
And I'm going to do an episode, a fun episode, who has the best chicken tenders.
Gosh, I wish I could go with you.
You're going to be on. I'm rounding up a crew that I think likes chicken tenders, and we're going to visit all of them, and then we're going to vote on who has the best chicken tenders in Jacksonville.
If there's one thing I'll ask of in your lifetime, let me go on the Great Chicken Adventure. Because
that's the working title.
I am
the
already
Great Chicken Adventure.
Matter of fact, I know I have at least one vacation day. I'm taking the whole day off because I'm going to need to recover.
Yeah, that's awesome. The Great Chicken Adventure. So we talked about the partnership with Camp Lejeune. Let's talk about the other partnerships. Onslow County, the neighboring communities, municipalities, and the state. When it comes to accomplishing our community, Jacksonville's long-term goals, talk about those partnerships.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, wherever you're at in the country, you have a county government, then you have a county seat, and that's usually the larger community, or historically, it's the seat. The seats changed in Onslow County. Holly Ridge was the seat at one point. And so you have these challenges. What's unique here is that relationship that we have with the county is phenomenal. The relationship we have with the other municipalities is phenomenal. Think about it. Jacksonville and North Topsail Beach, they're a lot different every single day.
Yeah.
So when we call North Topsail and we're calling the manager down there, one manager just left. She went to another community. They're bringing in another manager soon. They have Larry Faison, who's their interim. Larry was an assistant manager in Jacksonville years ago. Interesting part of our career, when I left Whiteville and went out west, Larry was hired to be the manager there.
Wow. Okay.
And so working with Larry is a blessing, but it's those relationships. He's a professional manager. Everybody hires professional managers because this is a business of professional management. If it wasn't, then it doesn't matter who you hire.
Yeah, anybody could do the job.
That's right. And then you may be able to. There could be people that do it better than some of us, and there could be people that do it worse. But the interesting thing that we have is we meet consistently. We stay on a group text so that we can communicate about what our challenges are and how we're going to solve it. One of those partnerships that we have is through our Economic Development Corporation, JOED. JOED just hired Melissa Brandt. Can't wait till you can spend some time talking to Melissa. She's phenomenal. She's from Fargo. She brings a lot of talent and experience with her. But in that partnership, when we start thinking about economic development, it's not about what all Jacksonville can get for ourselves. It's about how do we attract business to Onslow County. So if Richlands is the best location for a new business, then we're the first at the table to say, let's hook them up in Richlands. If there's a boat manufacturer that needs to be in Swansboro, we're going to say, put them in Swansboro. Any business that comes that wants to pay a good wage with benefits and increase the tax base, we're going to support it no matter where it's at, because especially in this community, rising tide lifts all ships. It lifts every single citizen in Onslow County at the same time. So that's where that partnership comes in. You got to understand, it's not always about me or us. It's about the larger we in this community. And I think we don't always agree. Mayor Pete and Holly Ridge will tell you, we don't always agree, but we agree that there's a way to do business and there's a way to work together so that we're all successful. And that's the real value add.
That's great. Let's talk about the future, man. So if someone drove through uptown Jacksonville 5 years from now, what do you hope they see?
I hope they see something that someone today doesn't see. And I hope what they see is vision and planning and leadership in action. I hope they go through the entryway of this uptown development and they say, wow, I can have a townhouse over here. I can go to the sports complex here. I can sit down at a restaurant in here. I can go to a water park or an amusement facility or race go-karts, play putt-putt. I can go to a massive arcade. I can shop. I want them to see something that we haven't seen in Jacksonville in our history. We have an awesome community. We have great small businesses. We have national chains, but we don't have that thing that drives people here during a tourism type of season. North Topsail and Surf City have that thing. It's called the ocean. It's kind of cool, the Atlantic Ocean. But ours is a little different. And so that uptown has to be different. It has to be special. To make it happen, we need partners. So when you talk about these partners, we need the county, we need the state, we need the support of other municipalities to say this is how we're going to get there from point A to point B. So in 5 years, I hope you see it. Heck, we may be living inside that development. If we can sell a house and go buy into there, wouldn't that be beautiful? In 5 years, my youngest daughter, Kinsley, will be graduated high school. Maybe she'll be playing volleyball at Carolina at that point. Who knows? But that would be the vision, is that people see something special and that every weekend we're hosting some kind of tournament, some type of event, some type of concert. The Harlem Globetrotters are in there giving us a show that are bringing citizens out to enjoy fellowship together.
So that about the sports many things you mentioned, but the sports complex obviously hits close home to me. I don't know if you know, I was the former chairman of the sports commission for about eight or 10 years, and really first got the idea, did the first feasibility study with a group I think they were out of Florida originally back 8 or 10 years ago, that examined the sports complex. Everything wasn't right there. We did get some stuff, or we got some stuff shifted with the tourism tax dollars, that formula for X number of years. So anytime you talk about that hits close to home.
And Senator Zara
with me
continued that flip this year during the legislative session.
Yeah, because it ran out. Harry
Brown
Senator Brown started it, and it was for X number of years. Then it expired, and it, I guess, had to be renewed.
He just re-upped it for 10 more years.
That's awesome.
So that blessing that we get now, Scott Smith's he runs the sports commission. He's an awesome partner for us to make things happen. A lot of experience out of Tennessee before he came here. And so when I got here in 22, he said, we just need facilities. I promise you, if we had facilities, we would do more. When you spoke to Tim Foster and to Commissioner Bennett about what the county's working on, they're working on a facility. And you talked about historically, we need more facilities. Being able to do this center, this 150,000 square feet with 8 indoor basketball courts, 16 indoor volleyball courts, possibility for wrestling tournaments and cheerleading competitions, and a place for indoor graduations and concerts. All of these things will add value to us.
Game changer, man.
It's phenomenal.
Game changer.
So when you talk about people's tax bill, unfortunately, that's what the reval does. The reval creates an additional revenue stream that, even though our property tax is going up, the city council says we'll allocate that to make things happen, to expand our tax base, to add to opportunities in the county that will give us more in the future, but we have to pay for it up front. So when we talk about these revals that we didn't implement this year, and then next year, maybe we implement them next year, you got to be at the table to hear that dialogue, because just the facility itself, it's going to cost $60 million. Those numbers are astronomical. There's nothing cheap anymore.
No, and what everybody needs to realize too, if we're going to do this, it's not going to get any cheaper. $60 million this year, a few million next. I mean, as this thing goes on, nothing that I know of is getting is getting any cheaper. So that cost is going to continue to rise, and it's a game changer.
In 2022, Mayor Phillips said, our people deserve nice things. And when he said that, the city council said, yes, let's go full force into this project. Instead of doing a field, which would be amazing, of just having outdoor recreational fields, they said, we need a game changer. Yeah. We need something that answers the questions that people have said for many years of, we need something bigger, we need something impressive that attracts people here. Within a 5-hour drive, there's 17.5 million people that live within a 5-hour drive of Jacksonville. What that means is, once we have this facility open, if you build it, they will come.
They will come in hotels, eat at our restaurants, do shopping in retail, buy gas. I mean, it'll happen.
And it's going to change the revenue streams so that you generate more sales tax and you're less reliant on your property tax. That's something similar as ours has been working on for a few years, is maybe the state looks at eliminating the property tax and going towards a higher sales tax. Texas has considered it. Florida's been working through it. You see these things and you know that people are working to try and make our state better. Yeah. We're already the highest increase in population in the country. Yeah. You know, it's no longer California and Texas, it's North Carolina, both by number of people and by percentage. So we know people are coming, so they have to come to Eastern North Carolina, right? Where else would they go? This is the spot.
This is the spot. So we talked about Uptown. Now let's talk about downtown. Where does downtown revitalization stand today? And what's the next milestone residents are likely to notice? And I know what this one, I know a milestone. You guys are going to be doing something that's really cool. A lot of communities have them, and you guys just voted to kind of do a test, like a trial period, a test period on something. But talk about downtown.
I believe downtown's the heartbeat of any community. Yeah. So you see the project that we did with the New Bridge Street revitalization. You see some new businesses that have come on New Bridge Street. You see Court Street is getting some activity. Yeah. So the City Council's done a few things after that project. One thing is they did decide, let's do the social district. Let's test it out on Court Street for Oktoberfest. You got great partners over at the Biagio's building. They're great owners. They're awesome partners. They've been a part of this community for many years. You have good businesses inside of their building. They have a smash burger business in there. You have Clove Hitch. You got the Ransom Room. Yep. These are all super fun businesses for downtown. So we're going to implement this social district that will allow people to walk from business to business with an open container. And it's all regulated. It'll have security, but it creates a downtown atmosphere that we haven't seen for decades. You've seen it back in the day, but it was a little different then. So we're trying to create an atmosphere that attracts people back to downtown. The second thing the council has done is they reallocated a position. They allowed staff to take the 631 full-time positions that we have. We took a vacant position and we're turning it into a downtown coordinator position. You may think, well, what's that coordinator going to do? They're going to do exactly that. They're going to work with property owners. They're going to work with business owners. They're going to work with events, and they're going to make the magic happen downtown. I was talking to a property owner yesterday about things that we could do, and he said, what can I do to help you? And I asked him, what can we do to help you? That's how the relationship works. Yep. This downtown coordinator is going to allow us the opportunity to get better over time. So in that 5-year window you said earlier where someone goes to Uptown, I hope they leave Uptown, they drive downtown. And they hear that jingle playing. We were in Washington, North Carolina this past weekend going to Bill's Hot Dogs to get a hot dog. We drove an hour and 15 minutes to get a hot dog. But their downtown is phenomenal. Yeah. It gives us a model for what we can do. You're going to see a lot of energy and a lot of excitement over the next couple of years in downtown. So we're really excited. It's going to be a place that people are going to continue to go and visit. 1940 Bistro.
That is awesome. So we talked about Uptown. We talked about downtown. We obviously have the New River and potentially, riverfront developments happening. How do all three of those things fit into the Jacksonville's long-term vision?
Opening up the river for development is a huge opportunity for us. Councilmember Mr. Willingham has come back onto the council and he says, we want to open up the water development. Let's do something amazing. Taking the land that's down there now and working together with the county, working with our business owners to try and make something really fun happen. We think there needs to be development on the water. We think there needs to be things that when you pull into the newly revamped marina and you put fuel in, we want you to stop there. We want you to go around the corner. We want you to tie your boat up to the pier. We want you to get off, go up and have a sandwich, or go buy some knickknacks, or maybe get some new fishing equipment, maybe get some ice to go on your boat before you go back out. We want to set that area, we want to set it on fire with activity. That's the vision. That's the things that happen. The challenge for us is there's only so many dollars in a local government, and so we can't do it without those partners. If we don't have the Billy Sewells and the Joshua Crumpler and the Trask and the Venters, if we don't have all these people, the Greg Popkins who own businesses right there on the water, we can't be successful.
True public-private partnership.
It's the only way it works. So when you talk about partnerships, it's not just the county, it's not just the Marine Corps, it's not just the other municipalities. It's the local business owners that can put money into it. City of Jacksonville does not build businesses that sell widgets. That's not what we do. So instead of us trying to take the lead on the widget building factory, we need to find those partners that can do it. So what the council's told us is the land that we have, let's sell the land in an economic development package and let someone who does that business come in and develop it out.
You need to enable those businesses to build the widgets or to whatever.
And then support them.
That's the role, and then support them.
That's the challenge for us, is figuring out how you can be supportive. It could be the YMCA, it could be one place. You know, those individuals do a public service similar to what we do. But when you look at the bistro and you look at the other businesses downtown, you've got to empower them to be successful. That's why downtown has a different overlay district. You don't have required parking that you would have in other parts of the city because they don't have the space to do that. So is there a challenge of finding a parking space? I hope there comes a day where you have to drive around and park 4 or 5 blocks away and walk like you do at a mall.
Yeah.
You walk 8 blocks just to go from one end to the other, and you go, oh, that was totally worth it to get that pretzel. But we want you to walk downtown to do it. So it's all of those partnerships that are going to make it work.
Maybe have to park in the middle school parking lot on the weekend to walk in either direction.
Wouldn't that be good?
That would be
You
awesome.
park in the middle school parking lot to walk to the Arts Council to see an art show.
Yeah.
And along the way, you get an ice cream cone.
That'd be awesome.
Or you get a sandwich.
Yeah.
That's the vision that many people have had, and we just got to keep working towards it. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens over decades of planning, and this city council is so ready to continue making magic happen that they're pushing us. Hey, let's do more.
Well, kudos to you guys. You guys have done just a phenomenal job aesthetically. I mean, y'all spent a lot of time, a lot of effort on the streets, just the medians, I mean, it's just, you know, and I know those, to some people, those are small things, but it just makes it nice when you go somewhere and it's visually appealing and you're like, hey, this kind of pride, you take pride, hey, you know, our downtown looks good. And so you do that, and that creates businesses wanting to come downtown and be there. So kudos to you guys, man.
And our Parks Department manages all the landscaping throughout the city.
Yeah,
they do
a
stuff
great
for
job.
DOT. Michael LaCory and his team, he's worked for the city for like 128 years. And his team get out there. I passed 3 different crews today on the way here from City Hall out there keeping our city clean. It's a beautiful thing that they do. And a lot of times you think about a thankless job. People don't typically stop on the side of the road, especially when it's 92 degrees.
Yep.
But those guys and ladies are out there doing the work every single day, and we're thankful for them to making it happen.
Yeah, they do a great job. So let's go fast forward. I said 5 years from now. Let's go 10 years from now. It's 2036. 10 years from now. What do you hope people are saying about Jacksonville, North Carolina, the city of Jacksonville?
Yeah, I hope they understand the beauty of being a military host city. Like, I think that's something that people still don't accept. You never know that people don't know your community until you're somewhere else. We can talk about Atlanta, we can talk about Austin, and you and I can generally agree those are cities that have things, and we may be able to name some things. Yeah. When you talk about smaller communities like Jacksonville across the country, and we're a mid-sized community, people don't know what's happening here. In the western part of the state, they don't necessarily know that the United States Marine Corps calls Jacksonville home. They typically may not know that Fayetteville has the United States Army position there. It blows my mind that people aren't aware, but we're always in that area. So I hope people understand we want to be equated with United States Marine Corps. We want to be part of that Marines and Sailor story, but we also want to be a destination. And when the Museum of the Marine opened up recently, that's a huge partnership. That's a project that's taken 26 years to come to fruition.
Yeah.
It's a destination now. We want people to know that we're a diverse community where we have entertainment, we have the Atlantic Ocean, we have the New River, but we have opportunity for people to come here and be successful in whatever they want it to be. We want the American dream to be alive and well in the city of Jacksonville. One thing we don't do as well is plan for 10 years. So when you throw out a 10-year question, one thing I say is I hope the good Lord says, let's still be in Jacksonville, because we want to be here for a while. We want to be a family that's rooted here and continues to do the work. But you just got to keep pushing. You got to know that the people that are in elected office, they want to see Jacksonville get better every single day. There's not a member of the mayor and council that says, I think we've done good. Let's take a break. The good Lord gave us the 7th day off, and we take that to rest. But the next day is Monday. We get back to work.
Let's get at it.
And unlike some people, we work on Fridays too. I know that's mind-blowing, but we work on a Monday and a Friday because we want the community to be better.
That's awesome, man. So rapid fire. I shared those questions with you previously. Now I've got some fun questions for you now, man, that maybe will let the folks get to know you, Josh Ray, a little bit better. You ready?
I'm ready. This is the best part.
This is the best part. First question. What's the most misunderstood part of your job?
Man, the rapid fire ruins that. You don't even know. A lot of people don't understand what a city manager does. That's the biggest part, is they say, well, why do we have a manager? Why would you be the person that's there? And it's to bring all the sausage together. It's to be the visionary, and having the team we have, it allows them to do their jobs, provide them the support, and then we work with the council to lay things out and to give professional management of a $130 million budget.
That's probably the most serious rapid fire question you'll get. Next question. You came from a Boys and Girls Club event earlier today. Commissioner Foster was the guest speaker.
He was the guest speaker.
Was his speech too short or too long?
Well, he's long-winded, and that's shocking to some, but I thought he was auditioning to be a Baptist preacher during the thing. But what I did learn about him, and this I didn't know before, Tasha must write all of his material because it had some value today that I've never seen before. And so now I understand. She writes everything for this guy, and he just has to read it from a script. All joking aside, Tim Foster is an excellent partner for us to work with. He and Mayor Phillips have a strong relationship. But now I know in that household, it's her that leads the way, and he just knows to follow.
You're a Chicago Cubs fan. 2026 World Series, it's a real possibility. Or is it just another year of hopeful optimism?
If I didn't live through 2016, I would say, we're always playing for next year. But since 1984, I've been a Cubs fan. Me and my mom have been Cubs fans. We picked up Andre Dawson shortly after that, and that gave me the desire between Harry Carey. This is our year. We just swept the Dodgers, and they picked up Scooble, which is ridiculous. We shut him down. We've got the talent. We have the best defense you've seen in baseball, maybe your entire life. So check the metrics. You hadn't had metrics your entire life. It's a totally new world. Even when people are only batting 220 instead of the Tony Gwynn days where you're expected to bat 350. We are a strong team top to bottom. It's a bold prediction, but we're winning our second this year. And I might get a Mike Tyson face tattoo when we do.
Nice.
Right? It's 2016, 2026.
Nice. All right. You and I talked about cereal. You like cereal, Golden Grahams. I got to ask, how do they cram all the grams into the Golden Graham cereal?
I have been struggling with this question for 47 years of my life, because back in the day we had quality cereal commercials. We saw this on Saturday morning when we were watching cartoons. The coyote would blow something up and then get blown up, and then all of a sudden we'd have Golden Grahams. I've been trying to figure it out. Last week I had a bowl, and I sit there for about 30 minutes after I finish this bowl because I'm a fast eater, and I still don't know the answer. But there's got to be the magic there. There's got to be something. Is it the leprechaun that's also doing Golden Grahams? Maybe that's what's happening.
Maybe that's why they're so delicious. Magically delicious.
Magically delicious. I think I want to put some more time into it, but not like the time on this this great chicken adventure that we're
I
going
was
to
gonna say you can think about that, and then we go on our great chicken adventure. You can kind of tell me maybe about the cereal and what you learned about it.
Wait till we talk to the people at the chicken places about the history and how these places came about.
Yeah.
That's going to be the best part, because I bet you a lot of people don't know that the founder of Zaxby's and the founder of Raising Cane's worked at Guthrie's before they
Are you
started their
serious?
business. That's a fact.
Oh wow!
Isn't
We're
that
gonna-
crazy?
So we're going to get some good chicken tenders and some great history lessons.
We should probably go in order of when they started and eat our way through it that way.
I'm in. I am in.
This is exciting.
This
I don't
is
even
gonna
know
be
what I'm doing
exciting.
today now, but I'm going to get some chicken today.
I am too. I don't know what I'm doing for lunch, but it's going to involve a chicken tender and some ranch dressing.
That's right.
After a long city council meeting, where's your favorite place in Jacksonville to unwind?
312 Harvest Drive. And that's everybody can know it. That's where me and my family call
Okay.
home. When I get home, Steve, it's a blessing. You know, I said earlier, the good Lord blesses us in so many ways. And being able to go home and know that my wife's there, our Shih Tzu's there, that's my comfort zone. I love all of our businesses. A long meeting, everything's closed, by the way.
Yep.
If I don't get out till 11 o'clock, everything's closed, and I don't
closed.
do that anyway. But if I can get out of a meeting, all of a sudden catch the 8th and 9th inning of a Cubs game and know that when I walk through the door, Savannah Lee's got it on the TV, I'm living my best life. And if I get to call mom on the way from the council meeting to the house, it doesn't
That's
get
a
any better
bonus.
than that. So you learn that later on in life, that there's a lot of people that aren't there on the other end of the call now.
Yep.
So when you can make that call, you make the call.
That's awesome. So what's the it's kind of a serious question. What's the best piece of advice you give someone who's thinking about going into local government management, who's looking at making a career as a city manager, as a county manager? What's some good advice?
And so in North Carolina, we have an excellent support group. It's the North Carolina City and County Managers Association, and we have rekindled our mentor network over the last 3 years. Been a leader in that, rekindling, bringing the system back. So we do a lot of mentoring. When you get to this point, after 2 decades, you go ahead and start mentoring some people, because I had a great mentor. First thing first, you need to know that this is what you're built for. If you're going to be a public servant, it has to be at your core. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It's not a hokey pokey type of career. You got to be dedicated for the long run, and you got to be ready to lean on your back foot when a curve comes in and either wait on it or watch it come through. So what I mean by it is you have to be ready to pivot. City councils change all the time. Their taste and preferences may change. You don't get to stay in one community as a manager for your whole career. It's just not the way business is done. Morehead City just brought back someone that retired 10 years ago, and that's an awesome opportunity, but you have to be flexible. Right now, Mr. Massey and I sit every other day and we talk about how we do business differently now than we did it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because people change. You know, when you talk about the 4 states that we've worked in, the thing that's consistent and the thing that changes is people. Our needs, our wants, our desires always change. I got 3 daughters. Their needs, desires, and wants change every 4 minutes. Like this is, my 13-year-old was up this morning at 7 o'clock asking me if she could go watch football practice today. I'm like, yeah, babe, make it happen. You know, if that's what you want to do, get you out of bed today, you go watch football practice. You know, you go be a part of your school's culture and add value to the community instead of sleeping till noon.
That is awesome. That's awesome. Great answer. Last rapid fire, and we'll wrap it up. And this is a serious one. It hits home for me. This is a serious one. Who you got? Dean Smith or Roy Williams? Which
I'm
one?
going Dean.
You're going Dean.
Yeah, I'm old school. I
Okay.
believe in old school. I believe in being loyal to your people. And I love the culture that Dean built. Roy's story is one of the best stories in the history of stories. If you don't read his book, I encourage everybody. If you don't have a copy of it, you can borrow mine. Come to City Hall. I'll give you my book. Please bring it back. But Roy's story is amazing in how he fought to get to where he was, and then he enjoyed the success. But Dean's Dean. You know, he developed. What did Roy develop that we can give him except national championships? Dean developed the core values of Carolina and the 4 corners.
Yeah.
Those 2 things, that's what we rely on every single day. That's why we fired Coach Guthrie, because he didn't understand the core values of being a Carolina guy, even though he got to participate in 1982. It's a different time now. If you don't change with the times, the times will change around you. And
So you're a Dean guy.
tried and true.
All right.
Nothing changes it.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Stout. This was awesome. Josh Ray, city manager for the city of Jacksonville. For the record, I'm a Roy guy, but that's okay. Thank you, man, for spending some time with us today. And thank you for giving us a better understanding of where Jacksonville's headed. That's Those Who Serve here on Living Local. A special thank you to our presenting sponsor, Amy Goss with Guild Mortgage. Her support helps make conversations like this possible and makes potentially the Great Chicken Adventure possible as well. Are you in? You're in.
I'm so ready.
You're so in. I'm Steve Goodson. Thank you for joining us. For Man Cave Media, remember, speak and the cave will listen. Living Local is made possible by Marine veteran Amy Goss with Guild Mortgage. Everyone deserves the American dream. Amy helps you achieve it.